Welcome to episode 14 of the Amiibo Newscast. This week's guests are Jason Grier from Nintendo Inquirer, Josh, aka The Noise Brown, Vince Inquires, and Abdullah from Abdullah Smash 026. And here are your hosts, Lauren and Amiibo Jason.
Good evening, Amiibo and Nintendo fans. Welcome to episode 14 of the Amiibo Newscast, a very special episode of the Amiibo Newscast. If I have to say so myself, this has to be probably the most intense week of Amiibo news that we've had so far. But before we go into all of that, let's introduce ourselves. I am Amiibo Jason, your host as always, and with me is my partner in crime, the better half of Amiibo news. We have Lauren.
That's me. I'm also known as Happily Candied online. And with us today, we have a very, very special guest for the very first time appearing in person is Abdallah, also known as
Abdallah from the YouTube channel, yes. Abdullah Smash 026. Absolutely, yeah. It's great to be on. Thanks for having me. I'm a huge fan of the show and a huge fan of Amiibos in general, so I'm just like you guys in that aspect.
You picked a good week to come on.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge news for Amiibo out there.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of good stuff happening.
So we should point out that we are recording from a hotel room in Los Angeles, California right now. We have been at the LA Convention Center for the past several days reporting on everything and anything Nintendo related with our site NintendoInquirer.com, and obviously more importantly the absolute massive heap of Amiibo news that we've had over the past 2 days. So we're going to go into a huge amount of that, but before we do, Lauren,
yes,
I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room.
What would that be?
So we had a leak not too long ago, about some Animal Crossing Amiibo a day before Nintendo's press event.
Yeah.
And I know this is important for you.
It is.
If you look in front of us right now, we have your 3DS.
My 3DS, my cleaning cloth that I made, and my Animal Crossing 3DS XL case. Everything always has to match.
Villager Amiibos up there somewhere.
There we go.
Yep.
So we had this leak that came out that I believe it was Nintendo of Spain.
Yep.
They sent out an email that if you embedded it like on a Facebook post or you put it like on Reddit, you would get this thumbnail of like all of these new Amiibo. And more importantly, what we saw was a series of Animal Crossing Amiibo, including Tom Nook, Isabelle. What were the other two that were on there?
Sable. Mabel.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mabel.
You guys are resident.
Yeah.
You guys are Animal Crossing
Yes, there
experts.
are.
Yeah.
So they had 4 of them in there, and that's really, I think, what we kind of thought we were going to end up getting.
Yeah.
But besides that, we also had this 8-bit Mario Amiibo that was like sitting in this warp pipe, just totally blocky and really cool.
Came out of nowhere. I did not expect to see that one. That was a lot of fun.
So what do you think about the leak? I mean, number one, I think nobody likes getting spoiled.
Yeah.
I know for us, knowing that the Animal Crossing Amiibo were coming kind of took away some of the surprise on the Nintendo Direct, which is sad to a certain extent. But you two, being our resident crazy Animal Crossing fans,
Yes, big fans.
how did you feel about the leak as a whole?
I'll let you take that one first.
Well, I was excited to, see some confirmation on that. But like you were talking about, not really a big fan of leaks because I like to be surprised in it. But knowing that the Amiibo community is, expanding into this game of Animal Crossing, besides the cards that we've, seen so many of, I think that's just way too cool.
Yeah.
It is.
It's way cool.
It adds a lot of quality to that because with the Animal Crossing cards, as much as I like the idea of collecting them, I wasn't too sure about how it would feel as far as seeing it go from figures for other games to go to cards for Animal Crossing. I thought maybe the quality might decrease in that a little bit, but I was thrilled to see that we were going to be getting some actual good quality figures with a lot of detailing.
So I remember when we saw this leak, we were driving down the road. We were, I think, on our way to the Nintendo World Championships, or it might have been after. But it was just kind of mind-blowing to see it because this is kind of the kind of leak that Nintendo isn't necessarily known for. They're generally very, very careful with this kind of information. But myself included, I'm also a very big Animal Crossing fan. So I'm excited that we're going to see like a dedicated line of this. We've talked about this in other casts that you wanted an Isabelle Amiibo.
That was my dream Amiibo.
You're going to get it, so that's good.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, obviously we had the 30th anniversary 8-bit Mario that got leaked too, but we're going to discuss that further into the cast. But come the Nintendo Direct, we find out that we're not just getting those 4 figures, we're getting this entire series of Animal Crossing figures. So we had Tom Nook, Isabelle, KK Slider, Mabel, Reese, Cyrus, and a brand new female otter named Lottie.
Yes, and what's interesting about this is that, from what I hear from other Amiibo fans, is that Lottie is actually supposed to be a relative of other characters in the series.
So cute, you know that.
Yeah, that's interesting how they'd bring a brand new character and not just like make one of the more popular characters like Tortimer or you know, something else like that. That's
very interesting. I mean, it adds a new element to the series, and at the same time it also adds something else, which is the idea that these animals really are connected to each other. They're not just living separate lives in separate houses.
Right.
Kind of adds a new dynamic to the whole game.
Oh, I totally agree. I'm kind of torn at this point. Only because the massive amount of Amiibos that are coming out like in the next few months, I think it's going to drain my bank account more than I expected it to. I'm a sucker for Animal Crossing, and I'm always going to be. I gave up New Leaf when my favorite villager moved out. I think we've discussed that.
Have you done that? Have you ever done that?
Yes.
I was devastated.
What was your
what
villager?
did you do to him to make him? Did you
I
sent him weeds or anything?
I sent him letters every single day.
Did you forget the attachments to the letters?
I may have forgotten that.
It's the little things that matter.
You know how much medicine I brought that duck?
Yep.
I brought him.
Duck.
It was. I think his name was Drake.
Oh,
he was my boy.
That's sad.
He's gone now.
What's your favorite character?
I like Chief. He's a little wolf. He's my favorite.
Nice.
What's yours?
How about yours?
My favorite is actually Meringue because she's sweet themed. She has a little strawberry on her nose, and she looks like she has a little like icing on her, and she's pink. So kind of goes with my whole theme, candy theme.
What kind of animal is that?
She's a rhino.
A rhino.
Yeah,
rhino.
she has the strawberry for the horn, and that's why I like her.
So we have these Amiibo then at this point that are going to be essentially in this brand new Wii U title called Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which more or less it looks like a kind of like a board game, almost very similar to like the Mario Party series, except it seems more kind of laid back.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you have to like, you know, battle like 4 friends out. It's just kind of like land on some spaces, see if you can like sell turnips and things like that. I am just going to go on record at this point that I'm a little disappointed that it's not a full-fledged Wii U Animal Crossing rendition.
Right.
I remember playing the Animal Crossing Plaza that came out on Wii U and seeing all of the villagers in like high definition, 1080p. They have those assets like there, and I'm like, this would be absolutely amazing. I thought completely that because we saw these Animal Crossing cards coming out, I thought for sure that it was going to be our time for a full-fledged Wii U game.
I love that, but it's not completely out of the question. I mean, it's just that this is what we're getting now. It's very possible that in the near future they seem to keep building more and more on the Animal Crossing franchise. So I just think that it's a nice new type of twist to add to the series.
I would say so. And supposedly there's been information that's leaked out that it's a free-to-play game.
Really?
Yes, I heard that.
I didn't hear about that.
So I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but that's interesting because, I mean, the amount of content that we've seen from the video footage, like Jason said, it's not really the most out of what we really want. So with it being a free-to-play game, but you need the Amiibo for, which is, I mean, that's kind of cool.
That is
I'll give it a shot. But I mean, it's too early to kind of make that snap judgment on it without all the information. So I mean, I'm looking forward to collecting all 8 of those Amiibo and you know, just seeing how the 3DS game, the Happy Home game, the Happy Home Designer, how that translates into the Wii U version.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah, so, I totally agree.
There was one other piece of news that I'm not even sure if you know this at this point, but during the Treehouse, they announced that the board game mode is not the only mode in the game. They said they can't talk about it yet. So I think that gives me hope. I mean, what if this is like a tease into like a fuller like Animal Crossing experience on the Wii U?
See, that's what I was talking about with Happy Home Designer. People were disappointed that it also wasn't a full-fledged game. And I said, well, this is all Nintendo has given us so far. We really don't know what else is involved here. So, I mean, I think it goes the same for the Amiibo Festival. So
it's a little bit too early to tell. But from what we see, I mean, we like what we see so far. It's cool. Just give us some more.
Exactly.
For sure. So we also found out that we are going to have support for Amiibo cards in the Amiibo Festival game as well. So I think the good news is at this point is that we are going to have Amiibo card functionality in both Happy Home Designer and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. So we do have a confirmation on the date finally for Happy Home Designer, which is September 25th, which is about 2 months after the Japanese launch, which is going to kill me. Actually, shortly before this newscast aired, the Animal Crossing cards went up on a website called the Miami, and I pre-ordered a bunch. So we're going to have a bunch of Japanese cards ready to open, hopefully soon. Probably some for giveaways as well, because I'm sure we're going to open like every pack, and it's going to be double. But it's cool. I mean, the cards themselves are very interesting. And I like how they're actually crossing over, because they announced on the Treehouse as well that we're going to see a crossover between Happy Home Designer and the Amiibo Festival game too. So we're seeing this kind of cross functionality that Nintendo hasn't necessarily been known for in the past. So I'm excited for that as well. But I'm curious to see just both of your perspectives on, now that we have kind of an understanding of the cards and what they're going to potentially do. I'm assuming you saw them on the show floor too.
Yeah, the cards were awesome. I'm just like, I'm thinking like the sheer amount of cards. For like Series 1, 100 cards. Series 2, another 100 cards. I mean, there's over 300 Animal Crossing characters in the game, and it's a perfect opportunity for Nintendo to definitely, make that cash flow come through. And, hit our bank accounts and wallets. I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
And then with what you were telling me earlier, it's very possible that we won't even just see animals now. We could possibly be seeing items as well. And that idea, I mean, who knows what else the cards could bring us. They could give us so much more. And like we said earlier, we just don't know enough right now.
My favorite part of the cards by far, we got to the show floor and we walked up to them, and I saw this glimmer on the cards, and I'm like, oh my god, they're shiny. Oh my god, they're holographic. This is the greatest thing ever.
So like shinies, you open up a booster pack, so one out of the 3 could possibly be a shiny. Oh my god.
So everyone that was out there had some sort of sparkle to it. I'm thinking that's what it's going to be like. But could you imagine if they had 100 cards in a series, and that everyone could potentially be holographic, and then there could be a standard version of that too? So for complete collectors like myself, how would I handle that, like, financially? I think I might need a loan.
Otherwise you're just going to have to, get cards, distance yourself each time you get a new pack of cards.
I think I could just try to sucker you into getting more cards and then take your doubles.
I think that's what we're going to end up doing. We're just going to end up trading a bunch.
I think that's right.
Until we get full collections.
So here's what I'm hoping for. You guys remember Kid Icarus Uprising for Nintendo 3DS?
Yes.
Right? You guys at home as well? Now that had AR cards, and there was like over 100 of them. But they did have sealed boxes with one of each of them that you can somehow, obtain. I'm really hoping that there would be a sealed box of at least Series 1 that maybe media influencers, maybe someone can get them that works with Nintendo. That would be so cool. Or even if it's mainstream, imagine that. Just drop what, $150?
There you go.
I don't know, $150, $200, maybe like a
just
pre-order.
Keeps going up.
that would be the best, because I can only imagine trying to find a way of completing the collection, just like you said, is going to be nigh impossible. It's going to be really tough.
So if anybody at Nintendo is listening, which I'm sure they are,
always.
Yes.
Send those cards our way.
Yes.
We will get the word out about how amazing they are. We'll advertise them for you, and we'll do a special opening every single one.
Absolutely. I'm already a fan because I saw the quality of them up close in person here, and I was overwhelmed by how beautiful they were. They were vibrant, and they looked thick, good quality cards.
They looked thick, but not as thick as I thought they would look for having an NFC chip in them. I believe that, I think it was Skylanders, they had something at Toys R Us at one point where you could get a card if you pre-ordered a game that actually worked in the game too, and that looked thicker than what I'm seeing with the Happy Home Designer cards.
Maybe they have new technology that allows them to have thinner chips inside.
Could be.
Who knows?
All I know is I think we're going to see amazing mods come out of these. People are going to cut those chips out of those cards. They're going to sculpt their own amiibo for their favorite villager, and it's going to be amazing. I'm hoping we actually see some of the more amazing custom amiibos coming from those. I think
so. I think that's what we're going to see. More and more amazing amiibo customs are coming out, and by the time these hit, definitely.
So Abdullah, I got to ask you this. We've talked about this on the cast before. Amiibo cards. So now that we have kind of a firm understanding of what they are, what they look like, how thick they are, how much they're going to cost.
Oh, man.
Do you support Amiibo cards? Are you for the expansion of this out? Because obviously my prediction is we're going to see Pokemon cards at some point. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity for Nintendo
I'm on
to
the fence about that. I mean, my wallet's saying, you know what, let's just stick to the little toys, the plastic figurines, nice little box, amiibo. But then a part of me is like, well, I love collecting Pokemon cards when I was in middle school, and that was the coolest thing. But then it's like, finding a way of obtaining them all is just going to be so hard. So I'm a fan of, just getting them and just having a good time. And I want to see what they all do, the functionality within the 3DS and Wii U. I want to see all that stuff. It's very curious. But that opens up, exactly like you said, Pokemon cards, Pokemon Amiibo. Anything that has Pokemon written all over it, it's probably going to happen.
Has your opinion changed, Lauren, at all on the cards?
Not really. In fact, I'm a little bit more excited about them. I guess that in that sense it has changed. Yeah. I'm more pumped about it after seeing them in person and seeing the quality. So I'm just super stoked for them.
For me, I think the cards are where I'm going to have to draw the line on completing the collection. I'm going to want to try to complete it the best I can. I just have to be completely realistic that it's probably not going to happen unless it's pure luck, like you said, like Nintendo sent some over hint. Yeah. But obviously, I think with Pokemon, it's going to get to a point where it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
But definitely. Either way, I think the Animal Crossing stuff, I think, is a good way to test the waters.
It is. Especially for me, I'm an Animal Crossing collector. I don't collect all the Amiibo like you do. So for me, it is absolutely necessary that I get my hands on all those Animal Crossing cards.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Man,
it's a goal.
So that we spent the first 20 minutes of our cast talking about nothing but Animal Crossing stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. Animal Crossing was due for a major reboot like this. New Leaf came out, what was it, almost
2 years ago? I think I got mine in 2013.
Okay.
June.
So it's exciting to see something new coming to the Animal Crossing series, so I'm all for it.
Yep, same here.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I want the Animal Crossing card that has the Nintendo's exclusive furniture piece. That would be so cool. Kind of remember the Master Sword and the Triforce in there. Give me something really awesome, and that will be the super rare card.
Yeah.
And I want that.
I like the way you think.
I could totally see promotions promotions with retailers, giving away an exclusive card or something like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully not like Nintendo World Store where only New Yorkers get it, right?
Oh, no, that would be so painful.
What if it was store exclusives or something?
No.
GameStop and Walmart.
Oh, it'll happen.
Have their own cards.
Gosh. Let's not even go there yet. That's
we should cut this part out of the cast so we don't give anybody any ideas.
Yes. Wow. Just predicting the future right there.
Right.
Well, the good news is we have lots of Animal Crossing stuff coming. Dala, I wanted to thank you for coming on for this segment of the cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be bringing on Jason Grier. You may know him from the Toys for Gamecast. You may also know him from our other site, NintendoInquirer.com. He's going to come on and talk about all the other exciting Amiibo content that we have to discuss today. So before we leave, essentially, and bring Jason Grier on, where can we find you? Twitter, YouTube?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You guys can find me on YouTube. You can YouTube Abdallah or Abdallah Smash 026 is the official channel name. You can find me on Twitter at Abdallah Nation as well. So you guys will see that on the screen and the description below. So thank you guys so much for having me. I had a blast, and we had some good food a little early. We went to In-N-Out Burger, just in case.
It was pretty good.
It was very good.
It was pretty good.
Very happy.
But anyway, thanks for having me on board, and I'll talk to you later.
Rock and roll.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Now we move on to part 2 of the Amiibo Newscast with my second partner in crime. My some people say the number 1 to my number 2. I like to think it's the number 2 to my number 1. We have Jason Grier from Nintendo Inquirer, from Brick Inquirer, from anything that has Inquirer at the end. I'm sure you work with National Inquirer.
No,
no,
or not Shopkins Inquirer.
Shopkins Inquirer. You're not.
That's not me.
Did somebody take that?
You don't know about this?
I don't know about
for
that.
Another time. It's way too long.
All right, we're gonna. That might be at the after the credits,
it
folks.
Will be, yes.
We'll share that story. But Jason Grier is here today.
I am
in LA. This is the first time that we've met in person.
We met at the line for the Nintendo World Championship.
We did.
Tickets. About an hour before the Smash Direct.
It was kind of crazy. Yeah. I mean, we have been talking for months now. You initially had your site Amiibo Inquirer.
Yep.
Obviously, we had Amiibo News. We had merged our accounts together. So we have this happy union that is Amiibo News and Nintendo Inquirer now, which I think is a really nice combination of both names. What do you think?
I think it's fair.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it looked real good.
I think you looked really good with the Amiibo News sticker that you used to wear. The very first thing I did when I saw him, I slapped an Amiibo News sticker right on his chest. Do we have? Can you hand some of those over here?
Please.
It's on Twitter if you want to see the picture.
Let's put another one on him.
Just throw one here.
Wow, look at that.
Yes, it's official.
It is.
So thank you for hanging out with us here in LA, which I'm sure you're just thrilled to.
I'm excited. First time I've been this far west in the country, so
Really?
Big deal
me
for
too,
you.
actually.
it is big.
Yeah.
Farthest west I've been up to Missouri, so
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
thank you.
What was your favorite part so far of E3?
Yeah.
E3,
E3.
man, that's hard. So much fun.
I was going to say, you've had a lot of great experiences.
I did, yeah, it's true. I met a lot of people here, so it's fun meeting people like you and other people I tweeted for a while. Yeah, I think biggest moment was meeting John Vignacchi from Disney Interactive, Disney Infinity.
Disney Infinity?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
it is a thing.
I don't know about
Number one
that.
selling Toys Life category last year.
Huh.
Who? What?
Yeah,
Is that the thing that Nintendo, they joined that in December, right? Like they only had 1 month in, right?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll see how the numbers turn out this coming up year.
An ongoing conversation. Let's go.
So yeah, it's really cool to have you on because we have an absolute epic amount of other Amiibo content to talk about. So we had our segment already on Animal Crossing and all the craziness that's going to go with that, but I think the bread and butter for Amiibo has always really been the Super Smash Bros. Series. I think a lot of people are freaked out because of how difficult they are to find and how many of them there are.
Right.
We have inbox collectors who need pristine, boxes for these things. So what are we up to at this point right now? I think we have like 33 figures, 32 figures released in the Smash
Probably
Bros.
around
series,
there.
I think, at this point. I could be wrong.
The numbers getting blurred because some countries are getting them before.
Yeah. So if I'm wrong, you can just belittle me in the comments if you're seeing this on our site. But yeah, I mean, we have an absolute epic amount of these things, and Nintendo released information on just a gigantic amount more. Do you think it's too fast at this point? Do you think we're just getting too many figures too quickly?
We made a joke that Nintendo they're listening to the fans, that they said there's not enough Amiibo, but they took that as in there's not enough Amiibo, so that they're now making a lot of Amiibo, but not enough of the Amiibo.
So that's how it works.
Yeah, so that was some misdirected in the corporate world.
Wow.
So here's my thing with this at this point. We had, during the Super Smash Bros. Direct, an absolute crazy amount of new images, of new Amiibo that they announced, and something that we've never seen before, which is interchangeable pieces on an
crazy.
Amiibo with the Mr. Game & Watch. So let's go down the list.
Let's do it.
All the new ones. We have Falco, fan favorite for a lot of people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We have Duck Hunt Dog, which is amazing. I think it's Duck Hunt Duo, not Duck Hunt Dog.
Yep.
I am
Duck
like
Dog.
captivated by this thing. It's so cute.
It's not just cute, it's beautiful.
It is.
This is the art.
It really is. It's a piece of art. It's a little trophy for any longtime fans.
And we saw this in person.
Yeah.
And it is gorgeous in person.
Yes.
And granted, it's probably a prototype that we saw, but it's still amazing. If it looks halfway that good, I'm excited for Duck Hunt.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We had Rob the Robot, and there's a little bit of controversy with Rob the Robot on
Yes.
this one.
Yeah.
We get two versions of it, of course. We talked about this on another cast. We talked about, will there be color variations for Rob, because the Japanese Rob the Robot is red to look like the Famicom, and the US one is this gray and white variation, and we were kind of curious which one they were going to go with, and they decided to go with both.
Yep.
So we're not retail exclusive anymore. We're country exclusive.
Yes.
Amiibo.
Yes, correct.
Another fun new stage.
Ugh.
And this is going to be new for a lot of people. Not all Amiibo hunters understand what it's like to import from other countries. Japan is actually one of the more difficult ones to import from, because you cannot go directly through Amazon, which a lot of Amiibo hunters go with.
Right.
So your best bet is Play Asia, AmiAmi, other various Japanese import sites as well. I mean, there are ways around it, so you can shop on Japanese Amazon, but I think some people are going to find this to be kind of like a hard pill to swallow.
Definitely.
It's gonna be there might be a new level of unicorn for this thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's a little scary for me, because it makes me think, how many more of these country exclusives are we going to get?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob already felt like that. You know, you can always tell when a new wave's coming, that you can tell which ones are going to be the lower produced ones.
Yeah.
So we got that wrong with Wario, but Rob, it definitely feels like that. It's going to be that one that's in that smaller category.
Yeah.
And he's gorgeous looking.
He is. Look at that. Just... There's something about the detailing in the midsection, the cord, that just makes me think that Nintendo put a lot more thought into the design.
And the lenses. So this thing has, if you've seen a Rob the Robot, it has lenses essentially where its eyes are. They did a great job on this thing. If you're watching the video version of this cast, we have a picture of the Rob the Robot pretty much right in front of you, so you can see what those eyes look like. But I have to kind of swallow my pride and say something that I'm not used to saying here in the Amiibo Newscast. I was wrong. There was a prototype figure of Rob the Robot that got leaked not too long ago, and it looks pretty much identical to this.
Yeah.
So I said initially that I didn't think it was a legit prototype.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and swallow my pride and say it looked like it was legit.
This one's for the records, folks.
And no, it's not quite done yet because the next one is they announced the Mii Fighters.
Yeah.
Very same thing. I didn't necessarily come out as strong as I did with Rob and say that it's totally fake, but I had suspicions that that prototype figure wasn't legitimate. But it looks...
These were easier to fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing specific about them. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we have officially Mii Fighters coming to the Amiibo line too. They are not customizable though, which is borderline disappointing. What's really neat about these things are though, so we have our Mii Sword Fighter, our Mii Gunner, and the Mii Brawler all coming in one pack. And there's, I guess I need clarification on this. Maybe both of you can help me with this. In the Nintendo Direct, he had them on a base.
Yep.
Is that base part of the package?
No, I think it's just...
Oh, it's just his base?
So he can't hold up 3 in one hand.
That makes sense.
But this screams 3-pack.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to sell this individually.
Yeah, me neither.
Unless they want to do one per retail exclusive, you know.
Yeah.
Each retail have their own one, but it screams 3-pack to me. But
what do you think about it? I mean, it's less... I mean, obviously, we haven't grown up with these characters.
Right. No. I don't feel as attached to them. I'm not as excited about them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
They're gonna have 2 months of production on them.
Yeah.
And they're gonna sell on the shelves.
Right.
I don't think no one's gonna go crazy. I mean, if you're a collector, they're cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad they're there, but nothing screams, I need to go get my Mii Fighter.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of makes me a little bit interested in is the idea that you could maybe customize one of them to look like your own Mii.
Right.
And that's something that I would be interested in. So, I mean, if that was something that became kind of big, I'd be kind of on board with buying them.
But how cool would it be? Because it's got to happen. There's got to be someone in the world that looks like one of those people.
Yeah,
so how cool is it going to be to go and be like, that's me.
That's
like,
me.
and me. Like,
Got it.
That's going to be pretty sweet.
Yep.
There's so many cool things about these things, and exactly what you were saying is what I was hoping for would be having because there's an absolutely outstanding custom amiibo scene, and we're working with many of those people with customs for Akira, which is coming up. We'll talk about that later in the cast too. But there's going to be some really neat amiibos coming out. I think we're going to see like markets getting flooded with, I will make your custom amiibo into your Mii.
That makes sense. Or even just branching off just a little bit. What if one day we had an amiibo come out for Mii's that was completely customizable, so it was plain white, kind of like what they do with Pops, with Pop figures. And now they have a Girl and the Guy Pop figure, so I could see a Girl and the Guy Mii figure that would be really easily customized with paint, and if you're into sculpting little pieces on there, it makes sense.
Yeah. Or like a Mr. Potato Head type thing.
Yes, that's a great idea.
The nice thing about it is, though, for the most part, I mean, you could do these with stickers. So if they did release something, they could have like a sticker pack with every variation of eyes and nose. We could just stick it on there. Right. So who knows? Maybe they haven't fully announced the details of what these things are going to look like as far as like their official retail packaging. Maybe they'll do it. I mean, it would be a smart move on their part to let you fully customize your figure. But honestly,
Get people to sign up in the Club Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Never announced that. Sign up and get a free thing.
I actually forgot about that. That's actually devastating.
Come in at some point.
But I'm not as excited about these things. But I think the thing that I am most excited about was the last piece that was announced, and that's the Game & Watch Amiibo. This came out of nowhere.
Right.
So the Game & Watch Amiibo is going to consist of 4 removable pieces that puts your Game & Watch Amiibo into different poses. So we have the standard, like, hey, I'm angry, I'm on 1 foot pose. I guess, is Mr. Game & Watch ever angry?
He's frustrated, but I don't think he's really...
If he has a 9 hammer, he's angry. That's about it, though. He's got his parachute, he's got the bell, and then there's my favorite poses with the 9 hammer. The 9 hammer just bugs me. My brother plays with Game & Watch, and all he does is try to spam the hammer for 9, and he always gets it to work, too. So I might get that one, put it in that pose as a constant reminder of my failures.
The two things are funny thing about this, though, is one, just think of this and think of where we started from Amiibo, like this and like Rob. Like, can you imagine if this was Wave 1, it would not be this. Like, it's so funny we had, P sticks in Wave 1, and now we're at interchangeable 4. And then the other thing that actually my Twitch for Gamecast co-host Josh brought up last night when we recorded ours, are you going to buy 4 Game & Watch so you can have all 4 up at once?
Am I?
Yeah.
Are you going to ask me that?
Yeah.
He's gonna say no, but it's gonna happen.
Like, because if it sits there and you see piles there, you're just gonna say, screw it.
Yeah.
You know?
I would. I can see that.
I don't think I'm going to.
I honestly didn't think about it, but as soon as he said it, I'm like, darn it.
Darn it.
So this is the most unique amiibo that's come out in the Smash line to date. So my question is, at this point, is Game & Watch is not necessarily the most popular in Smash Brothers. So how are they going to manufacture this? How can because I don't think it's going to have the availability that we see with Link and Pikachu. I think it's going to be harder to find. Right. And it's going to be exactly more hard to find when you have people as crazy as maybe me that would buy 4. And I don't think I could justify it.
Right.
I don't think I could justify like walking up to an aisle and like clearing them out of Game & Watch amiibos. And I think Nintendo's either going to have to manufacture a lot of these and kind of understanding that this may happen. Right. Or it's going to be just kind of what we've seen already, and there's just going to be a lot of backlash from the community. It's going to
be interesting because, Nintendo fans listening to this, probably all of them are saying they want this, but honestly, like large consumer scale, it's not going to be that highly demanded. Yeah. But from the people, who voice, it's going to be one of those, how are the phrases, people, the minority with a louder voice, it's gotten to one of those situations that people are going to want this one, but really, your neighbor down the street probably won't care that much. Yeah. But it's going to be an interesting situation to see what they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to end up
happening. Price increase on it? In that rumor? So, I don't think they can increase any of them.
I don't think they're going to. So I took a look at these things on the show floor. It's a super thin piece of plastic. Yep. I don't think it's going to cost them any more to manufacture. Right. In fact, I think it's going to cost them less to manufacture these, even with the interchangeable pieces. And I think the fact that they
cutter.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that they are interchangeable, there's no support they need to include with it. Like Duck Hunt Dog. When you look back at the Duck Hunt Dog amiibo,
so much little piece.
There's this massive stand that the duck has to fly on, and there's so much more detail in these figures. So I'm guessing that the Game & Watch amiibo probably cost maybe half of what the other ones do to manufacture.
I did say before on last night too that the Duck Hunt Dog, I like the clear plastic there, but I also wish they would have maybe went a little bit more artistic and tried to make it into a tall grass kind of thing. Neat. So it's kind of up there, so it hid the stick, because that would have been a little bit more artistic to it, but who knows.
So what do you think at this point? I mean, this is something that's radically different than anything we've seen with Amiibo. So I think the fans actually looked at this and they were extremely excited. I think it was nothing but positive results, but what's your thought on this?
I love the design. I think it's so simplistic that it stands out, like you said, against all the other Amiibo. Yeah. And I can see this being harder to get, especially because this is something that not every Nintendo fan, especially in this day and age, is going to be exactly familiar with. So I can see there being a higher demand because there's almost not Nintendo might not anticipate a demand for it, but because it's going to be rare, that's where the demand will come in.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So when we tweeted out all the stuff that came through, that was one of our most socially interacted information was this. So it's definitely people are excited about it.
Because it's the people from a different generation who appreciated this.
Man, I can't wait. It's going to be crazy. But we also had one other piece of Amiibo news, at least for 2015, and that is Mewtwo is coming 2015.
It's coming.
So we had it was a kind of like a document that came out that showed a release schedule.
Holiday roadmap.
Everything. Yeah. Holiday roadmap. I like that. And Mewtwo landed in 2015, which was cool. There's no prototype for Mewtwo that we've seen at all, which is kind of sad. I was hoping to see a prototype for Amiibo, for Mewtwo. But we also found out that Lucas, Roy, and Ryu are getting Amiibos, but not until 2016.
Yeah. I was interested because I thought Lucas and Mewtwo would come together.
Me too.
It wasn't really necessarily the same time frame, but it's similar was. But I mean, the Roy and stuff is not a huge shocker that they pushed it that far. I mean, I'm curious when that was signed in the contract. I mean, that could have been just a month ago, that quick. So
I was still dead set on seeing Lucas before the end of the year, to be honest. I don't know why. I had this feeling. Why is that?
We still have a day left of E3, so we have one last day. Nintendo could pull the greatest announcement ever and announce Mother 3 is still coming, like the Wii U or 3DS.
They've announced stuff on the last day before.
They have.
Yeah. So.
That was our big prediction.
Yes.
That was, I think, both of us were dead set, and we've talked about this probably the last two casts that we've done, that we saw that with a Lucas Amiibo coming, that they would probably try to make it come out with Mother 3. So I'm kind of devastated they didn't announce it.
You told me Sunday night at the World Championship, just constantly you said they were going to announce it.
Yeah.
So.
I just couldn't believe that when I saw the Earthbound thing come
Everybody in the audience freaked out.
So if you're not familiar with this, they announced Earthbound. What was the...
Starts with the U?
Beginnings. Earthbound Beginnings. They announced Earthbound Beginnings was coming, which was essentially a port of the NES version that came out for the Famicom. So it's exciting to get
It's still cool. Yeah. Absolutely still cool, but it was such a tease.
Yeah.
It's a tease, but I mean, doesn't that give us a lot more hope for Mother 3?
It's so random.
Exactly.
It is
It's random, but it kind of leads you to
Sets
believe
the
that,
stage.
hey, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. This is what could be in the future.
Yeah. I'm still very sad.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
1 day left. It could happen.
Yeah.
Because they don't need any promotional material. Just drop it.
Yeah.
But Smash Brothers Amiibo are going officially into 2016. I thought we would see an end to these things at least by the end of 2015. So the Amiibo train is not stopping, it appears. So it's going to be kind of crazy to see what's going to happen into 2016. DLC is not going to stop. We have Smash Ballot. We're still waiting on our first official Smash Ballot.
We haven't got any of those yet.
Nothing. So we are going to see, I think, the Smash series just continue on for years to come at this point. It's always a popular series. Even for GameCube, I mean, I still see people playing Melee all the time. So, yeah, it's just something that we're not going to see stop. So,
Agreed.
but let's move away from Smash Amiibo for the time being. I mean, they're exciting, they're cool. I think they're Nintendo's bread and butter. But we had 2 other Amiibo announced, and one of them came from the leak. They're 2 different color variations of an 8-bit 30th anniversary Mario Amiibo.
Yeah.
So, color variations again,
Yep.
which are exciting. But let's kind of describe what these things look like at this point. I'm going to let you guys do your best.
Oh, I'd
job
actually like to
explain
see you
this.
pull that up on the screen. I would like a visual in front
Ready?
of me.
Simply, like I said beforehand,
Yes.
like it's thing you need to know about these is they're huge.
They are.
They're
I was
huge.
shocked when I first saw the picture of it.
Right.
Not even at the convention. I thought that's not even an amiibo.
Right.
I thought they just somehow mixed it up with the
it's
rest
a
of them.
paperweight,
It
you know?
really is, really. But it's amazing. Like, doesn't that? It makes me believe that we might see other bigger size amiibo like that.
Yeah, trophies, the new
Yes.
World Championship trophies now can be an amiibo.
Yeah.
But I think it was not as big as what I thought because I think they used like a smaller like woman's hand to use it because it looks. When I looked at Direct and I looked at a person, I'm like, it's still big, but wasn't as big. The picture they have for that makes it look like it's like a foot tall.
Yes.
But it's still really cool. It's not flat. It has depth, so it's just as wide as it's deep. And it looks like it's almost like it has a Lego brickish feel to it.
Yeah.
But it's sweet. It's very, very, very cool.
So I agree with you that it did look really big. But at the same point, too, when they announced the woolly Yoshis, I thought they'd be bigger. So we saw them in person finally. I actually got to hold one.
Yep.
They're a lot smaller than I thought they'd be. They're super cute, though. Oh, man. I would say they're so much cuter in person.
They're about the same height, though, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
So they're remarkably adorable, these things, the Yoshi Amiibo. But these things, too, I mean, they're still in prototype phase. Like at E3, when they had them displayed, with a little sign that said prototype. So they're not the final versions of
Did it still say on the Yarn one, too?
I don't think I saw that on the
Yarn
one. Did it?
Pretty final.
I'll have to go back tomorrow and take a look at that.
Because that's coming out end of the month in Europe, right?
Yes.
So they got to be final now.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Oh, man, I've been porting those.
I already have mine on the way.
I didn't get a blue one, though. I got a pink and a green. Did you get a blue?
I just got the pink one. I said, only because the 3-pack getting all of them was so much more expensive.
Oh, yeah, because they had one in the bundle and stuff.
Yeah, and I was so tempted because the packaging with the bundle looked really cool. But had to pass on that. Too pricey.
Man, we got sidetracked a little bit with the Yoshi stuff. The cuteness just gets to me.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're still
man.
the best.
I know it's going to be one of my top 3 favorites for sure.
But this thing, this blocky 8-bit Mario Amiibo is going to warm my heart. I am going to predict now we are going to see an entire series dedicated to these. We're going to see a Luigi. So I think one of the very neat things about this Amiibo, it reminds me of this promotion that I saw in Japan with this soft drink manufacturer. I can't remember who it was specifically, but you could get these little 8-bit figures that look very, very much like this. Very blocky, 3-dimensional, very, very cool looking. But yeah, I'm curious because I sent you that video not too long ago, but they're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
You being a crazy Princess Peach fan, 8-bit Princess Peach freaks me out a bit, just a heads up. She's super blocky and scary looking.
Of all things to be scared of, it's Princess Peach in 8-bit.
Let's pull up an image real quick.
I know the image by
8-bit
heart. I can
Princess
see it in my
Peach.
head right now.
Burned in the back of my lens. Eyelids.
So I think if you take a look at 8-bit Princess Peach here,
Oh,
she has like one long square black eye. this weird lip.
You know what? I was thinking of the pink one.
No.
In Super Mario Brothers 2.
No, this is the original.
I understand.
Right there.
The mouth is the only thing that I have a problem
fire.
with. Really, yes. But I still think it's great. It's so classic because it's so off. I mean, they didn't have what we have today with graphics. And I can appreciate that even though it looks kind of misshapen.
Yep. Would you buy it? You'd still buy it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. My Princess Peach collection has no bounds.
So, would you buy the Toad amiibo that's flipping you off? So, if you've ever seen that,
he's holding an umbrella and like floating down from the sky.
Oh, I like that.
If you've ever seen 8-bit Toad, like from the original Mario Brothers, it looks like he's flipping you off.
I never even thought about that when I was a little kid.
This is legit, like not Photoshop.
Right.
No, I believe you.
That's a real spray.
I believe you. Yeah.
So again, if you're watching the video cast, we have Toad flipping you off right around here.
I actually would get it. I would get him. I would get him just because of that, because it's so hilarious.
Oh man! So
this is one of those things. Oh, there's like an 8-bit like Peach statue toy out. Okay. Oh, Amiibo. Okay, here's
it's Amiibo.
$20, please.
So I think that's all they have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, most of my collection's in box, so I don't get any effect from it. Right. So I think I know what you mean. It's crazy. Somebody pointed out that Lucina, like the Lucina Amiibo, was going for like $50, and for the same amount of money, you could have bought this amazing Good Smile Figma Lucina figure that was just gorgeously detailed and with all these accessories. But people would rather have the Amiibo,
of course,
including myself.
That's the collector.
It's the collecting.
Yeah,
it's the collecting bug.
Yeah,
it just gets to you.
The point on that 8-bit though is if you know how hard they're going in with the Animal Crossing cards. You know, if this is going to sell as well as everyone thinks it's going to sell. You know, is Nintendo not in the money liking business now? No. You know, like they're going, especially Smash Brothers is going to phase out eventually, but it's, you know, might as well start something else in there that they can tie in. You know, if it's even just a yearly release, you know,
that's a really good point.
Do another one every year.
What about these color variations at this point? That screams shameless cash grab to me, but it also screams I'm going to give you all my money. So I'm going to buy them.
It does part of me think that they're honoring their heritage, you know, that kind of thing, and it's fair. And it's probably was a boardroom was like, which one should we release? Split it, and then someone's like, well, just do both. Fine, you know, but it's
a heritage thing. I think it's such a shameless cash grab.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it is nice, though. It is nice.
Oh man, they're gonna
cash grab would be if they release all Amiibo and all color variations from their Smash Brothers.
Don't bring that up, man. That's scary. Here's Fireflower Mario. That's gonna happen next.
If there's an American Mario, as I call him all the time, I would buy 20 of those things.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. But we are up to 7 Mario variations for Amiibo at this point. So we have the Mario from Smash, Mario from Super Mario Brothers, Gold Mario, Silver Mario, Dr. Mario, and both of these.
Yep.
Am I missing any Marios?
No, I don't
Nintendo,
think so.
do you have any other Marios that you haven't told us about?
Oh, I'm sure they have some stuff.
We're going to have Tennis Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, because Mario Tennis was announced, right?
It was announced.
Yeah, so that
Paper
seems
Mario?
like a really,
Paper Mario.
this seems like it's going to be a big year for Mario.
I don't know. I love these Amiibo. I think these are some of the most unique figures that they've come out with.
It was easily because I keep my Super Smash Brothers Amiibo in box, and I cut out the bottom so I can slide them in and out because I like them in the box. The color palette. Super Mario Brothers, I don't really care. I'll just open them up. These ones, I was like, they're going to be great as paperweights or whatever at my job. I was going to keep them there. But even the box, again, they're nailing the box for it. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but...
Oh, you can do what I do. Buy 2.
Buy 2.
Buy 2 of each.
And that can be rated on the internet. I can't collect them all anymore.
I remember the last time I posted a video tour not too long on our YouTube channel, and some of the comments were really nice, but some are like, "Oh my god, you have 2." Yeah.
I was afraid. I have 3 villagers.
Mother of God.
Yeah, because I bought one at launch, opened it up, and then I changed my mind. I wanted them all in boxes, and I was out of luck.
Yeah.
So I had to import one. So that was my second one, and then when I decided to make it a different variation, I had to get that one. So now I have 3. But I was tempted when I redid my collection room, and I was tempted to should I hide these? Because I'm afraid someone's going to spot all 3 and be like, that guy has 3.
Most people think I have 2. I also have 3 too. I have 1 in box, 1 out of box, and I bought the Japanese one. And I kind of want the other, the Japanese one out of box too. So I thought about buying a 4th, but I don't know if I could handle the backlash from the community if that happened. It's not like I'm scalping these things. I'm actually paying retail.
Right.
Anybody else could do this. It's just I have a problem.
There are always going to be people out there who don't like what collectors' methods are.
Yeah.
And to be fair, publicly say it again, Jason 99.9% of the time post a link before he buys it. So
Very true.
So he's posting it and then he's
Yes.
buying it. So he's not buying first. So he's even doing it even more fair. So,
I seriously have missed out on so much stuff.
yeah.
So we've had like an absolutely insane amount of new Amiibo content coming out. Almost too much, in my opinion. At least right away. I think we described what's going to happen in September as like Amiibo apocalypse. Amiibo apocalypse.
Yeah, we got
part 2.
We got 11 Smash and other like the Mii Fighters and everything. 2 8-bit Marios. That's about 13, I think, in September. And who knows when it's Animal Crossing? If they come in September too, that's another.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be up to 20.
September, I think it was like the very end of September. It was coming out September 25th. So prepare your wallets now. I think we have ample time to get the funds ready.
Yep.
Mow some lawns. I don't know. Make some extra money any way you can.
11th of September might be a date of importance. So mark that down.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So that's at least what we're hearing at this point. Mario Maker is being released on the 11th of September. So we're kind of anticipating that's what's going to happen.
Sell that game by getting people in the store. So
Makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, I want to point this out. I know it's not necessarily completely Amiibo related, but Mario Maker exceeded my expectations completely at Nintendo World Championships. Blown away by it. Super Mario Maker now.
Yeah,
So.
like I said, I'm not a huge esports person. I like the idea. I just never got into it.
Yeah.
But like we were sitting together in events where we were staying up, hooting and hollering. Like that was a blast watching
Sure
that
was.
game. So
Day one.
Day one.
Honestly, day one for me. So cool. So Jason, thank you for coming on for like
Absolutely.
the at least crazy Smash portion of this at this point. Before you go, where can we find you? Obviously, we know we can find you on Nintendo Inquirer.
Yep.
But you have more side projects than anybody I know.
Yeah.
So where else can we find you?
You can find me on Infinity Inquirer for Disney Infinity stuff, Skylanders Inquirer for Skylander stuff, Brick Inquirer for Lego Dimensions, Jason Inquires on Twitter if you want to follow me personally, and then obviously we're on the Toys for Games cast as well. So all kinds of places.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. Seriously.
you.
We have somebody new that's coming on now here in a second. Jason, I'm going to let you go ahead and make the introductions, and then you can head on out.
Yeah, so this person coming up next is one of my friends named Vince, who helps me a lot on my YouTube channels that we do for unboxing and stuff on there. So he's helping me with the trip, so he came by, and he's a big Skylanders guy, so he's excited to come and talk about the crazy announcement this week.
This next segment is going to be hard for me, only because we don't necessarily focus on the inferior Toys to Life genres. Mostly Disney Infinity, but I mean obviously Skylanders as well. So we're about to venture into territory we've never gone into, so God help us.
Yes.
Okay, folks, this is a moment that's going to go down in Amiibo News history. We have a new topic to talk about, a difficult topic for me. I think the hardest part about this topic is I got to play the Skylanders crossover with Amiibo. Technically, if you want to call them Amiibo, they have a switch on the bottom that lets you swap them between Amiibo and Skylander, and I sort of liked it. It was actually really well done. But we have Vince from Vince Inquires.
Yes.
That's your Twitter feed, right?
That is my
Vince
Twitter
Inquires.
feed.
And you are, at least at this moment, our resident Skylanders fan here.
That I am.
What do you got in front of you there?
I've got the E3 exclusive. What is it? Hot Streak vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a different color scheme. I don't think it appears different in the game, but it's the figure they're giving out.
Yeah.
When you play the demo.
That's exciting.
It's very cool.
Well, thanks for coming on for this portion of it, which is honestly hopefully not going to be something that we're going to have a regular segment on because Skylanders is not my cup of tea.
Sorry, Vince.
Hey, that's all right.
I'm not completely against it, but we had probably the biggest bombshell being dropped during the Nintendo Direct was a not a merger, but a marriage of a Nintendo and Activision. It's Activision, right? That's what I thought. For Skylanders and Amiibo. So we have this outstanding looking Bowser figure and a Donkey Kong figure that are going to be completely integrated into Skylanders Superchargers for the Wii U and the 3DS. It's fair to say at this point that it's not coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, so this is a Nintendo exclusive thing. Honestly, I'm not disappointed with how these figures look. I remember seeing them and thinking these are very, very cool looking figures. So it's exciting to see that we're actually seeing Amiibo venture out into like third-party content like this. And we talked about this on the last cast too, that this was a real possibility that we could see some kind of Skylanders and Amiibo venture happening. I think the last time we discussed this, we sincerely thought what would happen would be you could use the existing Amiibo figures with Skylanders, and obviously they went a completely different direction.
Very different. The idea of combining the two the way they did, it's very unique, especially because Toys to Life is still so new. So to see them jump to this type of setup is just very interesting. And like I've said a lot of other times in this cast, it kind of makes me wonder what directions we're going to be headed in after this.
Yeah. So we are not experts.
No,
with
we are
Skylanders in any way, shape, or form.
We apologize.
So Vince, I'm going to let you take the wheel on this one to kind of give us an idea of what to expect from Superchargers and what your thoughts are with the Nintendo partnership.
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to say this is a big leap forward. Skylanders has always been kind of its own enclosed little universe. Like it started off saying Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, and then they dropped the whole Spyro thing. He's a reoccurring character, but really it's just like its own game, its own unique characters, and it's always been a little goofy, a little cartoony. They're funny, like pun names, and they have weird powers. So to take something that's been so long lasting, like Nintendo characters, and kind of giving their own spin on it, like Donkey Kong wearing a suit and kind of in a different strange pose for Donkey Kong. He's like throwing a barrel or something. Like just it's a big wide stance. It's very neat. And Bowser's wearing armor. It integrates really well. You put those characters next to the new Skylander characters, and you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
And it's very neat. And like what are we 5 games deep now? This is the 5th game. So I think this is what the series needs. It needs like a little bit of a reboot, sort of like something new. And to add vehicles, that's nice, that's new. But to add a new franchise with it, where you can take your Skylanders, use them as Amiibos, and then Amiibos as Skylanders, I just think it's a really nice change of pace for the game.
Nice.
So I think there was kind of a shots fired with the Skylander pose, that the fact that you can click them back and forth. I believe it was Reggie that said that it would be a disaster for kids to snap figures apart, only choking hazards and losing pieces. So it's kind of interesting that they made that decision to just have a twistable base that you can use it for both. I am completely expecting a complete line of Nintendo Amiibo / Skylander figures to come to Superchargers. What else do you think we could see with let's say it's inevitable Mario is going to be coming into this, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a racing game for Skylanders, especially the DS and Wii version. So I could definitely see a full line of almost Mario Kart type Nintendo Amiibo Skylanders, whatever you want to call them, Sky Amiibos.
Oh, I like that.
I could see a whole line coming based around just the Mario Kart type universe. But, it'd be nice to just see them doing it in subtle waves, like just 2 at a time, here and there, not just right off the bat, because that's going to drive Amiibo collectors crazy. Yeah. And that's going to drive Skylanders collectors crazy, because we're like, hey, we're getting a game where we only have to collect 40 characters instead of 100. But then you're going to add 40 more Amiibos, so it's going to drive everyone crazy, but at the same time it can be fun if it's done the right way.
Yeah. Makes sense. So I think one of the interesting things is, I'm not against other Toys to Life. Maybe I let on. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a big shot with Amiibo. But, at this point, I'm not completely against Skylanders. I gave it a shot. It was the first thing I did at E3. It was the first game that I played. I thought it was actually really kind of an exciting experience. But one thing that gets me is that I don't want to have to buy 2 starter packs to get both of the Donkey Kong and the Bowser Amiibo. So the Bowser Amiibo is going to be exclusive to the 3DS version, and the Donkey Kong to the Wii U version.
Yeah, Bowser's also going to be on the Wii, which is the same version as the 3DS, or it's called Skylanders Superchargers Racing. We don't know what that's going to be, but I think it'll be the same game for both systems. So
kind of like maybe more of a dumbed down Mario Kart version of it. Just kind of odd that Nintendo would lend themselves to almost a game that's a competitor to what they already have out. But the fact that I have to buy 2 starter packs to get these Amiibo, because they haven't announced a way to get these Amiibo any other way, and I know I'm calling them Amiibo, which is probably killing the other Toys to Life people in this room right now. They're still Amiibo to me. Of course. But again, as a complete collector, I feel like I need to have both of these things. And what did these starter packs go for? $59, $60?
74 sometimes.
Oh my lord! $74.
Surprise!
You gotta be kidding me.
I don't know if we got a price on it or not. I'm not sure.
76.
76.
Yeah.
Well, so a little higher than that.
Okay, we don't know. It's 70-something. Jason Grier. How much is it?
74.
Oh.
74 for the base unit, 64 for the
Oh.
Wii 3DS.
74 and then 63.
64.
74 and 60.
74, 60.
64 for 3DS and Wii.
So let's just point out that it's more money than I want to spend.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot of
I've
money.
spent more.
What did you guess? 15?
Yeah.
50
50.
something.
Oh, 50.
Not 15.
I thought he said 15. I'm like,
No.
that's a jump.
15. The whole game's the price of an amiibo.
Right. Yeah.
Traded in at GameStop for $10.
Yeah. I want to point out that I'm not changing my name from Amiibo Jason to Skylander Jason. That's never going to happen. I'm probably not going to be a huge, massive fan of Skylanders coming up in the future. I'll pick up the game. I'll probably only use it for the Nintendo stuff, and that's probably going to be it. I swear. Are you registering Skylander Jason?
I was going to. I swear, right
Jason-
after this, I
We
was.
have Jason Grier in the background who's looking menacingly at me, and we have Josh Brown also in the background.
And they're shooting each other looks
Yeah.
the whole time. I see this.
So when I mentioned Skylander Jason, I saw Josh take his phone out ever so slowly. And I'm like, what is he doing? He's going to register that URL or that name on
Yes.
Twitter or something. Or he already did. One of the two.
No.
Oh, man. So this is happening at this point. And this is the only other piece we're going to touch on at this point, too. We had somebody at Disney, one of the bigger, I think it was one of the vice presidents at Disney Interactive. They said that they would love to see Mickey Mouse meet up with Mario in the Toys to Life category. So maybe in the future we're going to see even another crossover.
Seems likely.
I don't know. Disney Infinity is kind of lame in my opinion.
We're getting some negativity in this
Oh,
room.
man. To any Disney Infinity fans out there, I really don't mean that. I just love to see Jason Grier squirm.
Yes. So don't take it
Every single time I
personally.
say it, it's like I'm like personally stabbing him in the heart. He's still wearing the Amiibo News sticker,
Yes.
so that's good.
True
Little
patronage,
victories.
yes. Oh.
Oh no, what's he doing? He's writing on the sticker. Vince, thank you for
Yes,
coming on this
thank
portion.
Thank you
of
for
it.
having me.
So honestly, this is going to be something
Yeah.
that we're going to see more in the future. Vince, any other place that you wanted to plug where we can find you, or just
just-
your Twitter feed?
Just Vince Inquires.
Cool.
I mean, I'll
Nice.
be on videos on Skylanders Inquirer and Infinity Inquirer, but really just Vince Inquires.
Rock
It's
solid.
new. It's awesome. Check it out.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We are finally at the portion of the show that we have so graciously called the Amiibo News Speed Round. Now, we have been not necessarily so consistent
No.
with speed on this, but hopefully to keep us in check. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Brown here with us.
Ba-da-da.
You bring the wrong guy on for the speed round because if there's one thing,
The man with the longest podcast
Right.
ever.
right. So this is going to be completely against everything that you're hoping to get at.
I'm actually okay with that because I tend to take way too long with my answers.
Perfect.
Okay.
But if you're not familiar with the Amiibo News Speed Round, we ask our fans on Twitter and on Facebook what they want us to talk about on the latest Amiibo Newscast. So, honestly, we had a laundry list of tweets regarding what they wanted us to talk about today, so we're just
Yep.
going to go through a couple of these and kind of go from there.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So this one's just going to be from me because I'm the only one that attended this. We have Jason Grier in the background if he wants to yell in. Since I believe you attended to watch the Nintendo World Championships in 2015, what was your favorite moment? The best moment had to have been the Mario Maker finale. It was exciting. It was awesome. It was absolutely amazing. So we have Vince, who also went to World Championships, and we have Jason Grier. You want to come up to the microphone real quick and say what your favorite moments were? Steal the mic from us.
In Mario Maker, there's this level you have to watch it again if you haven't seen it before, but you had to bounce between stuff, and there was like 6 levels you had to do, and the contestants kept falling. So Jason, Vince, and I were counting down like 1, 2, 3, and it was
great.
It was a blast. We were freaking out, and the whole audience was clapping. But anyways, that was good fun.
Yeah, besides what they just said, I just really liked Splatoon.
Yeah.
I liked watching everybody go at it. It did get a little drawn on, but it's a fun game. A lot of paint, a lot of fun.
Yeah. So after the event, I don't know if this counts as being part of the event, but I got to shake Shigeru Miyamoto's hand for the briefest of moments, and it goes up on my list of like amazing life events. It's near the top.
Now, I asked you this 2 days ago. Have you washed your hands since?
I have not watched it.
Perfect. Awesome.
I don't know if that's like coincidental, but I might not have watched it
Subconscious.
anyway.
Subconscious.
So, yeah, that was exciting for me. So, we have a couple other questions here too. So, will there be a rarity for each Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer card? So, Josh, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one first.
A rarity? I hope not.
Yeah.
I really think that because they're blind packs, like it's already rare to get all of them, like because we're gonna have so many doubles and stuff. So I don't think there's gonna be any specific cards that are gonna be super rare, but hard to say with Nintendo.
Yeah.
I feel like there will be a rarity, maybe not a significant one where we're going to see a lot of different levels of rarity, but I think it's very possible that they might throw in a couple here and there depending on how many different volumes and types of packs that we get.
Yeah.
It's very possible that we'll get rare ones because cards are for collectors and collectors love rares.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to me that we get rares included.
I predict we're going to see rares. I think it's not going to be like an exclusive card. I think what we've seen with Pokemon lately, they have included gold cards, which are pretty much identical to like the other standard cards, except they're gold. I would not be shocked to see like a gold card type thing with the Animal Crossing cards. I think just enough to kind of keep it cool, like with Chasers.
Yeah.
But you know, not so different to make people upset because they couldn't get all of them.
They're still gonna be upset.
Yeah, that's if it's Amiibo related and they can't get it, they'll get upset. So, this is a fun question because we just talked about Skylanders. Do you think Nintendo should continue to support Skylanders? Personally, I think they should deal with theirs first.
I think so. I mean, definitely. I mean, this will be like the first time that an Amiibo has been used in game in a way that like the rest of the Toys to Life franchises are actually using them. It's not a new skin. It's not a palette swap or anything. It's a character that you're using in the game and playing. So Nintendo like is trying to stay away from that. They've always wanted to make Amiibo different.
Yeah.
But this is answering that call of collectors of why don't Amiibo do anything? You know, you even said you keep yours in the box. You don't even do anything with them. This is the chance to actually do something with them. So I think that partnership is good for both companies.
Nice.
I actually agree. There are flaws with Amiibo at this point. I think that it's getting better. I think the integration into other games, especially with the new Animal Crossing game for the Wii U, I think that's innovative and it's cool. The same thing with the cards. But we don't see a level of game support that we do from the Skylanders series or the Disney Infinity series with Amiibo, so I think this is going to be a good maybe integration into that kind of world. So I would say the more the merrier at this point for partners for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So cool. I think we're on the same page about different Toys to Life games, which is very strange to me.
It's okay. This partnership had to happen eventually. You and I mean. This
one's fun because we sort of talked about this at this point. How do you think the demand is going to be for the two versions of Rob? Will everybody want to end up with both and import for crazy prices?
I don't think everybody's going to want to import. I think that the really major collectors are going to want to import.
Yeah.
I think there are also different levels of collectors too, and the ones at the top who have to have them, especially as soon as possible.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are going to be right at it on PlayAsia or any other site that's going to be selling them. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's going to be weird because you're going to have some collectors, especially like the inbox ones, they like all North American inbox. But then, like, they want a complete set. So you're going to have to import this Japanese Amiibo that's going to have the Japanese logo and everything like that. Yeah. That's going to drive people crazy because you're going to have a full set, and then they're going to have one with the Japanese logo and all that stuff. Yeah. It's going to be tough for people to figure out what to do.
In this case, I think exceptions are just going to have to be made. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be the most scalped Amiibo to date. Yeah. Honestly, I think we're going to see a major issue with crazy prices on this. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel bad for the Japanese market because of the level of import that we're going to see on this. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to not cripple their stock, but when you look at like the statistics of what regions get the most Amiibo, North America gets the most by far. Right. Japan's numbers were nowhere near close. So I think we're going to see some major issues with this, and Nintendo might have to rethink their importing strategy in the future with it. So,
and it's possible that it may come over to the States eventually.
Maybe.
Gold Mario was North American exclusive, and then eventually made its way to Australia and other territories. So there's a chance.
Yeah.
You know?
Very true.
So we have another question about Mr. Game & Watch, and again, we've talked about him earlier in this cast too. How do you feel about the concept of changing pieces out on Game & Watch? Because we also mentioned that Reggie said earlier that having detachable pieces was a nightmare.
Right.
And just, a couple hours before they announced a detachable piece amiibo. So how do you feel about that? I mean, is it like, are we going to lose these pieces?
The pieces aren't small. I mean, they're still relatively good in size.
Yeah.
My issue was, like Jason brought up earlier in the show, is having the 3 other poses just kind of laying around.
Yep.
I wish there was a solution to that, some sort of display that maybe came with it. You could have the other 3 poses next to the amiibo, so they're not just stacked there on the shelf or whatever. But I like it. It's cool. It's different, and I wasn't expecting them to go different with the Smash line. The Smash are all pretty much consistently the same type of figure. So for them to do something different with this was neat. I like it.
Yeah.
So we have, and this is, we're going to do one more after this one. If the amiibo are already made, why make us wait all the way till September to get them in a North American box? So this is referring to the fact that we have in Europe, Yoshi's Woolly World releasing their figures already. Japan's already released Zero Suit Samus, Dark Pit Palutena, and Ganondorf, and we have to wait quite some time for those as well. What do you think's going on with the massive delays in North American amiibo stock?
Well, I think this is something that we've talked about a couple times before, and I think it has to do with the marketing system in each country is just so drastically different. So our relationships with Nintendo of America is going to be very different than what Japan is with Nintendo of Japan. Everything has to be taken into consideration here, and that goes to advertising, and it has to go with connections with retailers. So that's something, the inner workings that a lot of buyers don't understand.
Yeah.
So that to me is always the true answer to it.
Yeah, and the Yoshi game isn't coming out until October. Nintendo is very... they're stacking the end of the year with a lot of games, so there's no point to bring out the Yoshi Yarn Amiibo now when the game's coming out in October.
Yeah.
And for the most part, over like Nintendo's 30 years... North America has pretty much gotten most games before other territories. Early on, Japan got most of the games early, but Europe was always last for everything. So the fact that they're getting some things early on, it's not a big deal.
Someone is always going to be unhappy. I mean, unless we had a worldwide release date, which it really is very unlikely to happen unless it's like a 3DS Pokemon game, which we saw a couple years ago.
Right.
It's just unlikely.
So I'm going to give you a counterpoint to your... Again, these are rational thoughts, but let me bring you into an irrational man's head.
Sure, go for it.
So,
go for it.
Amiibo are an addiction and almost a sickness. Running Amiibo News as long as I have seen every kind of Amiibo collector, and the most common one I'm seeing at this point is the rabid Amiibo collector. Most people follow us specifically for when can I buy this? And our in-stock alerts for imported figures has risen to a level that I didn't think that it would rise to. The popularity was there, and the demand for that was there. So I think not having at least a window that's close, Nintendo of America is putting themselves into a position where they're not going to sell as much because people are importing the figures. So for myself, I had to import the Yoshi figures early.
Right.
I could not go months without having the Yoshi amiibo. I did the same thing with Zero Suit Samus. I did Ganondorf, Dark Pit, and Palutena. They're waiting for me at home right now, actually. I got them from Japan. It just makes more sense to just order them there, get them, while I'm at E3, and I can get them when I have, when I'm home.
Right.
The cost to import them was not all that much more.
Sure.
So either Nintendo is thinking that the crazy fans like me are going to import them and then rebuy them again for North American packaging, which I'm going to do.
Of course.
Or they're not considering what kind of effect this is going to have on the stock that's going to be here.
Yeah.
And we already have such a major issue with stock here already. So I'm curious to see what they're doing with this and maybe if they're going to change their direction in the future. But
I think that's part of the problem, though, is we're conditioned now to know that stock isn't going to be where we want it to be. And that might be changing, but we haven't seen that in stores yet.
Yeah.
So now collectors are jumping at the first chance to get them anywhere, and that's setting everything back because they're afraid, well, they're not going to be here in stores. I might as well just get this now while I can.
Yeah.
So once Nintendo proves that they could ship out a healthy amount to stores and have them available, I think the importing will slow down.
Hopefully. I mean, I think only time's going to tell at this point. But for the most part, you're right. Amiibo fans are just conditioned that when you see a link go up, no matter where it is, whatever territory or country, if that's an Amiibo you want, you better buy it. You don't have a choice. So, cool. Let's go with one more question we're going to go through here is the most common question we had. We had this question about 5 or 6 times, and that is, will the 8-bit Mario Amiibo function the same as all of the other Mario Amiibo? And really, what is it going to do in the game? So, I'm curious to see what you guys think on this one.
Well, our good friend Jason pointed out that during the Direct it did say that when you tap that Amiibo, it brings in a super mushroom to the game and it makes Mario large.
Yeah.
What else it will do, though, because that seems very insignificant with how important this Amiibo feels to Nintendo and the game. There's possibility that it might do more, but we don't know. They haven't really said.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the past, Nintendo has had a level of cross functionality between all of the Mario figures. All of the Mario figures work the same in all of the games at this point, with the exception of Gold and Silver Mario, which have a Gold and Silver token in Mario Party. But besides that, they all work the same. So I would imagine that they will function the same way as the other Mario Amiibos, unless they have something special in store for us. Maybe they have a chip on there that has more save data or something. I think it would be cool, and this is a prediction from me, that you could tap it on there, you could save a level, and you can bring it to a friend's house and play it there. I think that would be something that could take Amiibo from kind of a little niche thing into something that's really, really cool and that has a very specific purpose. So that's my prediction. It might not happen, but that'd be very cool if it did.
Even if it doesn't happen, it's something that Nintendo could aspire to do in the future.
Yeah.
Watching the Mario Maker demo today, they were really hitting the point home about how easy it is to upload and download levels and share in the Miiverse. So I really think they're going to focus on the internet sharing. Nintendo is definitely the last company to support couch co-op and encourage people to go to friends' house and share stuff. But I think they're starting to learn that that's just not the way game is going anymore.
Okay. Online functionality has been, at least for this E3, there's so many titles, like that new Metroid game as well. I mean, and this new Zelda game that's coming out.
Yeah.
So lots and lots of interesting things. So, Josh, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
That's the speed round at this point. But before you go, where can we find you? What's all the fun stuff you do?
Toys for Games Cast, which everybody should be listening to if you're not already. It's a podcast that we do. We talk a little bit about Amiibo, a lot about Skylanders, Disney Infinity, and Lego Dimensions. We cover all Toys to Life franchises because we love them all equally. There's no bias at all. So on Twitter, you can find us Toys for Games Cast. That's with the number 4. So
awesome.
And then at Nintendo Noise with a Y, where it's just all Nintendo things that I tweet out, basically for Nintendo Inquirer.
Yes.
So, Rockstar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out too, Josh is a member of the Nintendo Inquirer team as well.
Yes.
He is a valued member. You're going to see a lot of his content coming on our site, NintendoInquirer.com, coming up in the future. So thank you for being a big part of what we do here too.
It's
We
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate you.
You
Rock
guys
and
are
roll.
awesome.
Cool. So let's go ahead and close this newscast out. Lauren,
Yes.
where can we find you?
You can find me at Happily Candied on Twitter, and the link to my personal website is also in there, happycandied.com. And as always, you can always find me at Nintendo Inquirer.
So, you know me again. I'm Amiibo Jason. You can find us most commonly at Amiibo News on Twitter. We have our Facebook page, which is Amiibo News. So you can find us there. And our personal account, or my personal account, at Amiibo Jason. All my very fun stuff, my life adventures can be found there. So by all means, you can check those things out too. But more importantly, you can check us out at NintendoInquirer.com. We're going to be talking about Customs for a Cure coming up very, very shortly on there. It's a big event that we're doing for the kids at St. Jude's Hospital. So expect some really cool stuff coming in the future about that as well. So let's go ahead and close this episode out. Thanks everybody for joining us. This was an absolute massive episode. Lots and lots of guests. We're going to be back next week for episode 15. It's probably not going to be as big as this one.
Probably not.
But hopefully we'll have some new information. And we still have one more day of E3.
Yes.
Nintendo could drop some bombs.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this.
If that's the case, we're ready to do it.
Yeah, totally.
So thank you for joining us. Have a good evening or good morning, depending on when you're listening to this. And we'll see you soon.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Good night.